And I am alive. I just realized last Saturday, bonus number one was actually a disaster because I wasn't ready. With that being said, in future entry, I will have all of my notes in my WordPad. So this won't happen ever again. I came prepared like everyone should be. With that being said, today we will talk about Challenger, a movie I've seen in theater about a month ago, I think. I've seen it in May, so that's around a month ago. And I realized the meaning of a Netflix movie with Atlas, at last, pun intended. We also cover Asphalt City. So, three movies of this year. It will be very fun. And now, just like any podcast with an intro, let's use season 10 intro because season 10 will be shorter. Anyway, we are there. I will start by saying, all of you, go watch it. If it's still in theater, I highly recommend Challenger. I enjoyed that movie a lot. Thus far this year, it's one of my favorite movie. The shocking part is its audience, and I can bet the audience was woman. Well, the intended audience. It was still a very good movie I liked. And I will also tell you this: it's rare that after a movie I I seek and search for many reviews and I want to get everyone's rating on something, but here I did. I was like, I'm sure I missed something. I'm sure they will explain something I didn't understand. And now we will get right into it with a spoiler already. So the biggest reason why um it went that way, it's because of the ending. I was like, oh, they look peak. They are about to finish their tennis game, and something happened. As a viewer that had no clue about tennis or that has not the best media literacy out there, I still have a decent one. I work on that a lot, but I was surprised by the ending. I was like, who won? I have no idea. I have no clue. So I did seek for reviews to understand the ending, and one of the reviewers said, "Oh yeah, if you touch the ropes in tennis, that means you give the point to the other person." So maybe that's an hint that the main character didn't care anymore. The main character was like, you know what? I won't win for the wrong reason, and I don't give a crap about this game anymore. Maybe that's one of the intent behind that scene. Or maybe he's like, you know what? I will lose this, and if she really wants to leave me because I don't want to play anymore, be it. It's funny how this is probably the only unscripted part of this current stream. Because from now on, I am ready. I have my notes. We will read through notes. But I gotta say, you need to like sport drama. because Challenger is a sport drama. It's a very fun sport drama with entertaining story, characters, music. I did hear some people saying, "Oh, the music was too much. I didn't like the music." I did. Highly recommend. So yeah, Challenger is the sport drama you need to see this year. Last year it was Iron Claw. I liked Iron Claw a lot. I'd say maybe a bit more than this because it touched me on a personal level a lot more than Challenger. But still, for this year, I'm satisfied when it comes to sport drama. Even if all of the other sport drama this year are bad, I don't care. I got Challenger. So, here we are with Challenger. So, I will start by saying I had two issues I could debunk. Number one, plot convenience. A dark-haired guy seeing Zendaya at the hotel, and from now on, I will call her Zendaya because, to be honest, I can't remember the name of any characters. That's a meme. I know, that's a meme. I have fish memory, whatever. Later, it's told they are staying inside the same hotel. This means at some point they would have met. The other reason this scene occurred was to tell how Dark Arid Guy was using people. Um, Speaking of that, using people, that movie is very interesting because uh, Dark Arid Guy, there are hints that maybe he is bi because he uses dating apps and he searches for both men and women. And we also have that weird fantasy with two guy and one girl, and like the two guy kisses, and there's a bunch of like messaging like that in the movie. So happy Pride Month, everyone. So for those who hate Pride, don't watch this. You will suffer. Or I should say, go watch it. I want you to suffer. Um, Again, I like that movie, and if Pride, that kind of stuff is enough for you to don't like a movie, you shouldn't be watching movies at all. But that's just my opinion. Um, so yeah. Okay. Next up, that I was able to debunk. Plot convenience number two, blonde guy bumping into Zendaya and dark haired guy. The point of that scene was to tell the viewer blonde guy knew he was cheated on. Knowing that means he didn't need to see it to know it. They also showed us instead of telling. Now, to add more on that, maybe we didn't really see them, but he kind of knew they were seeing each other. I will share a bit of personal life. I got cheated on. I knew it. People aren't stupid. Women, they try to hide it, but as a man, you can tell. You can know. Sometimes you will pretend you don't know, but you will know you are cheat on. So that scene was really to tell you, oh, she's cheating on him. That was also a seed and a foreshadowing for the ending, and that was also to spread some interpretation of this movie. People are like, oh, what if the daughter is not really the blonde guy but the other guy? Now, when I've seen that comment on reviews, I was skeptical. I was like, does the timeline really match? I don't think so. I don't think so. And people just like to throw stuff like that on the wall because if they are right, look how smart I am. I'm right. So my verdict, I think the daughter is really the blonde guy daughter. And another reviewer, I can't remember which one, because again, I've seen many reviews after watching this movie to make sure I understand it and I don't sound stupid. But that other reviewer was like, the timeline, they don't match. So that person was thinking the same way I did, and that person was like, that daughter is most likely really the blonde guy daughter. So it's great. Um, so now let's go back on topic. It's really the daughters. Stop trying to be smarter than you are. Um, Now the start of my review after I shared with all of you my two plot convenience. The movie, I went down too fast. The movie knew how to depict well love triangles. So if you have been on the channel for a long time, you know me. I don't like love triangle, but in this movie, that was the center of the conflict. That was the center of attention. That was probably one of the best parts of this movie. So for once in a lifetime, I will defend Love Triangle. Or you know what? It's actually the second time. Because I remember the first time. Lucifer Season 3. If you have seen this show, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't seen this show, go watch it. Highly recommend. Anyway, um, yeah, Love Triangle. That was a really good Love Triangle. Next up would be the movie knew their target audience woman. Had drama, had female fantasies, had woman's favorite sport. Let's be honest, like most of my exes are into tennis. So I think it's universally like a sport very loved by women. Um like I think it's standard, I think. Um I don't really like any sport, so I don't know what that attraction comes from. But hey, women like it. I've seen many women watching tennis. My mother was watching tennis. Two of my ex were watching tennis, so that's really a trend. So if you are a filmmaker and you want to attract a woman in theater, make a tennis movie, and they did. Anyway, next up, the characterization was great. Having both lead, big polar opposite was great. Well shown out, dark arid guy and Zendaya at attraction, without shared feeling of love. Blonde really loves Zendaya, but that was a one-way love. Modern women are well depicted since Zendaya sees the men in her life as tools for her happiness and not people, showing a very materialistic nature to Zendaya's character. She said she'd leave blonde guy if he lost. She wanted her guy to be successful. Man's nature is also well shown since dark-haired guy slept with very attractive businesswoman because, yeah, he is attractive. Um, and that's funny because he used her, and they made it clear that he's like, I'm just there for the bedroom fun, and the roof, but the bedroom fun is more important. Because he was still able to sleep in his car, but that's not that comfortable sleeping in the car. Uh, yeah. Dark haired guy was a broke nobody. Blonde haired guy was famous and rich. The music at tennis game were great. Well shown how Zendaya was just a cheater. Well shown how dark haired guy is LGBTQ plus since he swipes both men and women on Tinder and he can't park straight. I will admit that part with he can't park straight. It doesn't come from me. It comes from a reviewer I've seen. So I will be transparent and honest there. I wish I came up with that because that was funny. I did laugh. Because that's true. If you look at the movie, he always parks not straight. um, Side note, a double standard in full display. We see two men's parts, but no woman's chest, despite having bunch of occasion. So, okay. Now, just before I give my final verdict, I like that movie. Is it a movie worth watching in theater? I honestly don't know. I don't know because usually that's not my cup of tea. I know many movies you need to see in theater this year. Bad Boys, Ride or Die, um, The Fall Guy. These two movies are movies made for theater, and you will enjoy it a lot more in a bigger screen. Is it the case with Challenger? I don't know. It's still a very good movie. I liked it. I'm sure in small screen it's also very watchable and enjoyable. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I will let you be judge of it after you see it. My final verdict is a 10 out of 10. I do think this year, in terms of like just movies in general, as a reviewer, I think it's probably most likely my third favorite movie this year, or my second favorite movie. Not quite sure on that one. Um, and I won't spoil my favorite, or I should say my second favorite, if Challenger is not second, because this is a future topic. Because I see a lot of things in advance, and I think I will proceed. Um, I will watch a lot of things fast, so the homework don't really accumulate. It doesn't go any higher than it should be. So a solid 10 out of 10. Now, if it's my personal enjoyment, that movie is probably in top 5 for me. Like, I like The Fall Guy a lot more. I was more entertained and I enjoyed it more. But I do think Challenger is a better movie in itself because I have no issue. The two issue I had, I could debunk. Well, The Fall Guy, I liked it from start to finish. I've seen it 6 times in theater. I still had issues. Anyway, this shall mark the end of Challenger. So next up is Atlas. Oh my. Oh my, oh my. This thing is so bad. I I don't. So that's funny because there's a bunch of types of movies, right? There's the kind of movies that are a theater experience. The Fall Guy, Bad Boys, question mark beside Challengers. There's the kind of movie you can watch on a smaller screen, most movies. And there's the subcategory, the Netflix movies. Now, I didn't realize it before because I think in the past I've only seen one Netflix movies before Atlas. I've seen that movie at my friend's place. I was most likely drunk that day, so I can't even remember this movie, but I'm sure if I was sober, I would have forgotten about that movie as well. Now, why are the Netflix movies so bad? Friendly Space Ninja is a great YouTuber I like a lot. I adore his content. He's just so entertaining, and even if I disagree with some of his takes, I think he is a reviewer and a critic I can trust and enjoy. And I mention him because he did a great video about Netflix movies. And before I have seen Atlas, I had no clue they were so bad. Now, is it the worst movie this year? I don't think so. We got worst. We will cover worst. Don't you worry about that. Um yeah, so Atlas is a Netflix movie. Now, what is a Netflix movie? Big stars. Trash movie, trash scenario, but easy to follow. You don't even need to sit behind your screen can just do other stuff on the side and still follow the story and what's going on. And these are predictable and such. This is Atlas in a nutshell. Um, After an hour into it, I was bashing my eyes, my head. I was like doing something else. I wasn't focused anymore because that movie was hard to watch. Now, I will admit, again, it's not the worst thing I've seen by any means. I've seen a lot worse. Um, so yeah, I guess I can start off with my issues as usual. Issue number one. Characters are made stupid for Atlas to be elevated. Best example is the higher ups' desire to bring Arlan alive, despite Atlas saying it doesn't make sense and it's stupid. It's stupid. I agree with that. And I wanted to wrap my head around this movie and understand why others could hate it. So after watching this movie, after marking down my notes, I was like, maybe I'm too harsh. Maybe that movie is better. Maybe the Netflix movies are not that bad. So I looked around. I found Atlas reviews. Guess what? Um, some people did point out things I didn't. Like, why would they seek for a 30 years old brain, artificial intelligence? Why would they seek for that? While they have more recent and modern technology on Earth. When I've heard that, I was like, okay, I was too gentle with this movie. Some people are able to nitpick even more than me. Number two, the lore around Arlan turning artificial intelligence should also be a red flag for the group to not use artificial intelligence against Arlan, since Arlan can turn artificial intelligence. Any artificial intelligence can be turned against human, making humans stupid for the sake of the plot and team to work, and the story felt driven by stupid character. So, do you see a pattern there? Both of my issue thus far are stupid character doing stupid shit. Um, yeah, okay. So Cole just sent me something. And okay. So we got the juicy for Cole. Juicy Cole. I like you, Cole. You're amazing. So we will have content from him once we get into Asphalt City. You are great, Cole. Yes, what you said about Netflix movies is right on the money. Well said. It. No, well, I will be honest, Joker. I will also say that um these movies are just advertisements, and again, it's not really from me. I won't pretend it's from me. It's from Friendly Space Ninja. I can't remember the exact name of the channel. That gets Friendly Space Ninja something. Go look him out. He is amazing. I'm on board with what he says and thinks. So, by the way, Joker, I know you're on vacation and such, but if you want to opt in, you got the link. You know where to look. Anyway, um, to get back on track with this horrendous Atlas, um, two issues in a row are stupid character doing stupid shit. I hate that. That breaks me. That breaks me on so many levels. Next up would be plot armor on Atlas, since despite her lack of air, she could scream and cry. She should have died right there. um, yeah. Number four, the trust and Sync didn't feel earned, since each time she did accept to Sync, it was for survival, so it wasn't out of growth. Only the final Sync mattered because she really had the choice. And yeah, um, that was really hard. Now I bash on it a lot, but I will admit I did find some enjoyment because again, I don't think it's the worst thing we got this year. We got so many worse movies. Like I can think of like 4, 5 movies easy that are worse than this. Um, um, those who have seen knows. Um, at least most Amazon movies have great actors, well written stories, and variety. What is Netflix's excuse? Well, Netflix want to cut in the budget. They want to save money. Like they are the first one to rise up their prices, skyrocket. BS. Yeah, cool. Well said. Um, okay. Hell yeah. So I have a few things I did like. Um, now let's go into it. The action was cool. I liked it. It was really lazy action, but I don't care. When I see stuff blowing up and people dying, that's fun. Like I don't need much when it comes to action. Just give me something. I will be pleased. Um, what else? Atlas becoming more accepting of the artificial intelligence was fun to witness, but again, most of her growth didn't feel that earned. Um, what else? Like, I feel like every likes is just stuff I repeat. Atlas being depicted as jealous was also kind of fun. Um, or blowing up stuff is just peak entertainment for me. Um, Feels also like the people making the movie wanted to say that we need to overcome our hate for artificial intelligence to work end with artificial intelligence. Um, I feel like that's the thing in this movie. Maybe I read it wrong. I don't know. Any thoughts on that, chat? Um, Now, the end result is having mixed messaging in the movie. I understand that they try to say human relying on artificial intelligence is a mistake, yet it feels very off the way they make everyone so stupid to convey that idea. It would have been far better if not everyone acted this way. Um, Hopefully, the human was right based on human doing stupid decision for most of the movie. Hopefully, the writer were aware of that and they were not that stupid. Okay, Jennifer. Hell yeah! Ah, agree, agree. She's just like, okay, I will sound harsh. She's no longer good looking. She used to be 20 years ago, but her prime has passed. Sorry, sorry. Let's be honest. Even if it's brutal and violent, they tried similar message with the reliance or connection between them and artificial intelligence machine on Titanfall 2. Did it, but failed. Why? I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. So I went over every note I had. Well, actually, I have more, but like again, I would repeat myself too much. The final verdict for this movie is a 6.5 out of 10 for me. So this means I didn't like it. I'm weird, I know. For me to think a movie is enjoyable, it's a 7. Well, actually 6.5, maybe it's like mediocre, decent. Yeah, I know, Cole, but look, I I've seen worse. But there's action, bro. Like I like action. Like I enjoyed Argyle. Hell, I almost feel guilty I placed this over Argyle. But I actually remember more issues about Argyle, like how contrived the story was and how stupid a lot of things were. I don't know. 6.5. It doesn't pass for me. It fails. Um, it's mediocre or decent depending on the point of view you may have. Next up, Asphalt City, and I will say this: I like it. That was a great movie. This year, I swear, I adore lots of the movies we got. There's also the bad ones. Sorry about that. Um, there's also another one that pretends to be comedy, but I wanted to die every second of it. It's coming, don't you worry. I won't spoil it yet. Um, so we will read out Cole Letterbox comment on that. That will be his contribution. Thank you a lot for sharing. So here's Cole thoughts. I never read Black Files, so I could imagine how Asphalt City lackluster to other people who did, especially the message that were likely explored on further, but I was pleasantly surprised by it. I admit, Cole, I'm with you so far. I I enjoyed that thing. Asphalt City, thank you for mentioning it. I can't remember where you mentioned it, but if you didn't mention it, I think I would have picked another stupid Netflix movie or something. Um, I love the premise and how it places you in their shoes without putting on the brakes. It reminds me a lot of bringing out the Dead 1999. It does a great job making you feel what the characters go through or feel like you're part of their crew and understanding their different motive per scene, yet it simultaneously show their many flaws where you realize why they get the lack reputation they do from people and why they misunderstood in some regards, but in other cases not so much. I agree with you. I think everything behind the production of that movie is really good. And I'm, again, because of my security background, I did many first aid courses. I did four first aid classes. Um, and in first aid, one of the things you learn about is babies. And this movie was really clever and smart how they showed that the baby in the movie wasn't healthy at all. Um, because usually babies they cry because what's going on is they were comfortable. They were in a very warm place where the sound were not that aggressive because they were surrounded by water and body fluids and such. And for that baby to come out and just cry a bit but not that much, that wasn't a very healthy baby. And um yeah, so they were really clever on showing that kind of stuff. Now let's keep going with Cole comment. The sound design was interesting and never turns itself down in loud settings, so the audience can hear the characters perfectly. It's something I haven't seen many director outside of David Fincher do. The editing, camera work, musical score, and lighting gave off a great and interesting tone while giving you barely any time to breathe. With its frantic energy, it can get a bit much at times, but it most likely works for me. So that's amazing. And again, to go back at the unhealthy baby, you could hate the guy for like pretending the baby died, but you could also kind of understand how a beat up person, the way he was beat up, could be like, oh yeah, there's no hope, let's just let it die and such. So that entire part of the movie was like, wow, it was well made. Um. Anyway, let's keep going. I agree with everything you said, Cole. Um. And I feel like the city they were in was alive. It felt like we are there with them, with the sound, and it they deserve to win sound this year. Maybe it's not my favorite movie this year. It's one of my top movies this year, but they deserve sound. Like I look at my other movies I liked or others movie I consider really good. They don't have that many great moment with sound, so they deserve it. Next up would be Ty Sheridan, Sean Penn, and Michael Pitt fit their characters and felt real. The director utilized the strength of each cast member to their fullest potential. Even Mike Tyson, outside of a couple lines he fumbled, the encounter they have may come off as stereotypical, but it's dead accurate to what they face daily and the compassion or lack thereof they have of each patient. I love the gritty break style of these areas of New York that they perfectly captured and the ugliness of their lives, like a baby born in blood like that, like in the middle of a room and not really at the hospital. Yeah. Where even things they do for enjoyment feel hopeless and bleeds of desperation, including any bedroom fun scene. The scenery and location they chose are superb addition and set the tone well. And I feel like the lighting in this movie was also on point. This movie had really good lighting, color grading, whatever, everything. Every aspect of this movie is nailed very well. My biggest complaint is how it starts to feel like the film's overstaying its welcome by the third act. I disagree with you. I think that was the peak for me. I was really hooked by the universe. Like I will be honest. At first, it was kind of hard for me to get into it. I was like, "Oh, it will be another depressed movie where I will feel shitty about myself." But as the movie went on, I was like, "Damn, their life sucks, but you gotta learn from it." And I was entertained. I was really hooked. I think the first act for me was the most raw because that's the entry in their day to day life. But I enjoyed that third act a lot. They could have trimmed down some of the dialogue scenes or set pieces we constantly received back and forth. I don't know about that. Maybe you're right. Maybe I was just enjoying myself too much after the first act and I didn't see it. But yeah, the visual style can begin to feel repetitive too. I think that was the point in my books. I think that was the point because you're really meant to follow them on their day to day routine. And as someone that had some kind of day to day routine in the past, this is how sometimes work can become. Oh, look, same background. Oh, look, same thing is happening again for like the 10th times. But that's life. It's a circle, right? Um, The visual style can begin to feel repetitive too, I've already said it. However, I was intrigued enough by the characters' action, humor, and premise where I never felt bored. Furthermore, while it may sound like I'm contradicting myself about trimming it down, what still ends up redeeming it for me is how much substance and symbolism they have in every scene. There isn't one throwaway scene or line of dialogue that doesn't come back later. That's true, and I think one of my favorite thing about this movie is how we have that trope where the kid is new to that job and he's like, oh, you can't be that negative, you can't be that grim about life. And his character arc is realizing, oh, there's ugliness everywhere. And the peak of that is he realizes, oh, despite the ugliness, maybe I can do some positive. Maybe I can try to be better than this. And I think that was well made and well told throughout the movie. Like by the end of Act Two, he's kind of becoming like the other guy, and by the end of Act Three, is back to what he was at the start of the movie. But the difference is the journey he had in between, and the fact that now he kind of learned that, oh yeah, if I keep being like the other guy that just off himself, I will also off myself, and I don't want this shit. That was really cool. Okay, let's see the by repetitive visual, I more so mean the arty cinematographic attempt. They tried to do these dreamlike shots at many moments, but they look the same each time. Could have seen a bit different. Oh yeah, I could see it actually. I could see it. I understand more now. Thanks for sharing a lot. It was many religious theme I found interesting. Elements that start out as subtle background clues before slowly building itself up to the climax, from the imagery being more apparent to the musical score sounding like a choral music in the final scenes, and heavier the further you go along. It feels like each character is stuck in a purgatory limbo while having their different views and truth on how to deal with it or representing something. Now, since you're there, Cole, I will ask you something. Was I crazy to think that the second partner the main character had after the first one was actually someone that didn't look like he was really taking it seriously? Well, because he was drinking on the job and he didn't feel like he was taking that many calls on purpose. Like when he was going somewhere, it's because the main character was taking the call or they were forced into taking some calls. They were less like let's go solve the world's issues or something like that. um he didn't add that much like, oh, let's face off things. They did, but it was reluctant to do his job, I think. But maybe I'm wrong, so that's why I'm asking you. So the second partner is like the younger one. Like, to be honest, I've seen the movie like um a month ago or so. So that's a bit blurry, that aspect. It is different way of dealing with it after being so used to the situation and having not as much faith or optimism. It's their coping mechanism. Yeah. Um and I liked how the main character kind of rejected that drink on the job. That was great. Uh Tyre Sheridan character being the guardian angel with the wing shape of the blood splattered pictures in his apartment, his jacket design, the tattoos he notices, and the reason he gave for doing this. Scene Penn's character being the fallen angel who lost his way and is in eternal hell. Raquel Neve character dressing up like Mother Mary in white and telling him to evaluate who he reality is. The number of scenes and imagery involving flies, babies, and crossing lines, both physically and metaphorically, like the subway scene, adds to it. Overall, glad I have this chance, as I found out. Damn, I wanted to mute myself, but sorry about that. I misclicked on my mic. Um, Overall, I'm glad I have this chance, as I found it to be one of the more overlooked film of the year. I agree with you. I Man, this year I just like what we are getting. Like, we got all of these peak movie, we got a bunch of rock bottom, some in the middle, and we got like a few good ones. Based so far on what I've seen and what I remember from 2023, I think this year is a slightly better year in terms of movies. I know for a fact I liked more movies this year because there's a bunch of 10 I genuinely think are 10s. But yeah, let's get into my notes now after reading Cole's. Thank you, Cole, a lot for sharing. That's amazing. I like that. Um so uh a side note to start off that discussion. I think the person who made the movie is either French Canadian or French European just by looking at his name. Um, yeah, that was a nice thing I wanted to share. So here's my review. Sound effect and atmosphere were great. All the different injuries from different people were entertaining. The music, the lead was likable. The old man was entertaining. The nutcase was entertaining. The Arabic case was cool. So here I just mentioned like every intervention they did. I enjoyed it. The bedroom fun scene was entertaining. The girlfriend character to the main character, she was cool. I liked her. The music, uh, saving the tattooed guy was endearing. It felt earned, and music was cool. More music. The full chaos with the cops and wife beater was entertaining. I think it was one of the highlights of the movie for me. It really felt like a scene from my French Canadian cop show, but made by another person. um, so I like that aspect. The meeting with the captain was cool. The old man, that lead sound like a unreliable narrator. Oh yeah, the old man. The old man, was he a unreliable narrator? Okay, not French. Is born in Paris. Oh, I was close. I knew it. I'm like, that's clearly someone that speaks French that has that name. Um, I knew it because we are the only fuckers with accent like that. Um, the meeting with I've already said that. Um, both lead were really cool, and it was well shown how someone can lose faith in humanity after doing their job. Um, I think substance abuse and addiction was well shown in that movie. Um, I think the bit of normalcy this movie had with the main character and his girlfriend was enjoyable each time we had that. And it was very accurate for him to not really share too much because a lot of people that live through trauma, because this is trauma, in fact. A lot of people that live through trauma, they don't want to share too much. Um, Next up, well shown, all the good things being a pregnancy ended up being bad. It was a great way to subvert expectation, making the scene more real. I like that thing a lot. A lot is left out of interpretation during the entire movie, which is good. Did the lead blindly trust the senior, or did the lead knew the senior was wrong but let him do his things? He is the senior. So Cole, you're there. Any thoughts? Um, so did he knew the senior, or did he blindly trusted that senior because he's the senior? Thailand most notorious prison thrown into the world of substance and violence, and finds his best chance to escape it to fight. I think the lead blindly trusted many people. Well, at least I'm right on that. Um, the drink here was entertaining, well shown how the lead loses his mind. The guy letting the baby die was sad. But like you're like, can you really blame him? I can't bet that kind of stuff happens a lot. The lead losing fate was sad and dramatic. Ruth's death was actually very sad. The lead's breaking point was sad to witness. The message about the opposite of helping despite the desire was an endearing growth for the main character. The lead ending up saving someone's life was amazing and well made. The music. So I think based on my notes, the characters, the music, the sound was amazing. Comment. If you want to check another film from the director, then it's popular is A Prayer Before Dawn. Okay, interesting. Anyway, I sadly don't have much more to say. I think I've covered a lot of ground. That was really fun. I like that movie. Thank you a lot for bringing this to my eyes instead of some bad Netflix movie. Didn't see the baby surviving. That was a good twist. Yeah, that's true. I will give this movie a 10 out of 10. Well deserved. Now, we are many, many movies into 2024. Thus far, I've seen 23 2024 movies. Uh, I will share a bit my top 10 and I will skip the third place because this is for a future stream. So, in first place this year, we got Monkey Man. In second place, we got Challenger. In third place, we got Mystery One that I won't mention until the right stream. In fourth place, we got Asphalt City. In fifth place, I will also skip that one for a future stream. In sixth place, I will do the same. Yes, I know I'm cheap. In seventh place, we got Furiosa. In eighth place, we got Doom Part 2. In ninth place, Love Lies Bleeding. And in 10th place, we got The Fall Guy. Now, again, if we only speak about as a moviegoer, as a movie enjoyer, I think my top three would be Monkey Man, Challenger, and The Fall Guy. This will be very hard to top in terms of favorites. Um, feature my favorites so far. Um, interesting, but I like Challenger. Usually, I don't tend to go and watch stuff, um, reviews and such. I don't do that very often, but here I did. I did because I really liked it. And I just realized I completely forgot to timestamp Atlas. I'm doomed. I'm doomed. I will need to go back. So um 34. So that means 29. Okay, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. Everything will be all right. Anyway, Friday, maybe I will have a special event in real life. I don't know yet. Depends if I get the invite. If I don't get the invite, I will be streaming the Acolyte episode 3 and the first 3 episode of The Boys season 4. If I get the invite for the special event in real life, I will be streaming the Acolyte and The Boys on Saturday because I want to let people have some time to watch The Boys. It's 3 episodes. Hopefully, some people have seen the Acolyte. Um, if you have missed it, I covered the first 2 episodes of The Acolyte. I thought one of the two was average, the other was great. I'm looking forward to watch this week episode. It's actually tonight, I believe, but I don't think I will watch it tonight. I think I will watch it tomorrow, and Thursday I will watch all three The Boys after work, or I should say, after I sleep before work. My life is a bit messy. Anyway, I had a blast. Thank you, chat, for being there. Cole, you're great. And this shall be the end. See you Friday or Saturday.